Hello and welcome back to Pixel Street Videos. Today, me and John are going to be talking about video games. I totally botched this intro already, but this is episode 189 of the Pixel Street podcast. So the reason I did that is 'cause I was thinking earlier, I was like, fuck, I forgot to record an intro for the Evil Dead video for John.
You did, yep.
And that's been on my head all day. And now that I just opened it like I was doing that, well, I'm not doing that. I'm doing the Pixel Street podcast with the nacho cheese fiend himself, John Hansen.
Hey, what's up? We took a week off. I was sick, and Joel just did whatever he wanted. But we're back, and we've got some things to talk about. Very excited about that.
We do actually have some stuff to talk about this week.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get to that in just a minute. But to get some housekeeping out of the way, you can follow us on Twitter at Pixel Street. On YouTube, you can find us at Pixel Street Videos by searching over there, youtube.com/Pixel Street Videos as well, where you can find all of our Let's Plays, podcasts, pretty much every piece of content we put out, more or less. Me and Will reviewed some episodes of the Halo TV show. We did not finish the last two episodes because of reasons, but we will. Like it gets bad, John. Did you watch it?
Does it? No.
Yeah, it gets rough. I wouldn't say like terrible. It's just like being the Halo fans that me and Will are. It's hard to get through. But yeah, we will review the last two episodes. It's just not going to be. It's not an immediate thing for us. It'll be whenever we have time to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could check that out on YouTube as well as our two Evil Dead Let's Plays. We had a full crew together, a private lobby. That game's a ton of fun when you're playing with friends, but I tried playing alone once. Turns out not that fun alone.
No.
Even having
We'll talk
just
about
one
that more
person,
later, though.
even just having just one person to play with makes it more fun. But yeah, go check out our Let's Play. It was a ton of fun. John was a bad guy for one of the playthroughs we did. My dog's barking like crazy. It is what it is.
Can't hear it.
Oh, cool. Thank you, NVIDIA Broadcast, for blocking out that noise. Much appreciated. Is that it? Should we talk about news?
Let's get into it.
I went on a rant. All right. So let's get into our main topics for the week. First and foremost, the title of the podcast, Should You Abandon Xbox Game Pass? That is something that's been going around Twitter. I think it was like the end of last week / beginning of this week. Maybe it was over the weekend.
It started last week after the announcement of Starfield and Redfall being delayed.
I mean, I've been saying that I could see Starfield.
Yeah, Starfield.
Jesus Christ.
Starfield and Redfall.
I'm all over the place. Yeah, I've been saying that I could see Starfield getting delayed for a long time now, just because of like the scope of the game, how little we've seen of it. Because all we've seen is really just like kind of a cinematic teaser, right? Just showing essentially space, some sort of astronaut, the inside of a cockpit, I believe. None of it was like even remotely close to gameplay. So I kind of saw that being delayed for a while. But Redfall, I think, surprised me. Just because of how simple that game looked, in terms of being, kind of a Left 4 Dead clone, more or less. Another one, I know. We just got Back 4 Blood. But this is more vampire-centric, so... that one I'm kind of surprised got delayed. But yeah, this whole discussion of people saying that they don't think Xbox Game Pass is worth it without first-party titles coming to the service. What do you think, John? Are you getting tired of Game Pass because there are no first-party titles?
No, absolutely not. This is still the best deal in all of gaming. We've said it for years now. We're not the only ones who have said it for years. Xbox Game Pass is 100% still worth the $15 a month that I pay for it to get Ultimate. I mean, that's not going to change just because a couple of delays. Yeah, Xbox is a bit barren on their first party lineup. No one can dispute that right now. We had
Without a doubt.
Halo, Forza, and Psychonauts 2 last year coming from them, which were great releases. This year we've got the Cuphead DLC. Is that it? Yeah, I think that's all.
I guess if you consider the Cuphead DLC a first party thing, right? Because that's probably going to come to Switch someday.
Well, yeah, but it's published by Xbox, so that I'm gonna count it because it's under the Xbox Game
Hey,
Studios thing.
I'm just giving you like what all the Sony
Yeah.
fanboys
No,
would
it's
say to
not
you
an
on Twitter.
exclusive. It's not an exclusive, so yeah. Deathloop will probably make its way over the Xbox as well, but that's been out on PlayStation for the last year. Like that stuff isn't exciting for people that want to play these first party games. Uh, I feel uh I feel like I've been saying for like 5 years, I'm so excited for the future of Xbox because you have
Yeah.
Fable, Perfect Dark, now the Bethesda stuff, the Activision stuff that will close next year. Like it's all right there, but it's been out of our reach for so long. And really, I don't blame people for being fed up with it by now. It's been so long since we've had. Okay, I don't want to take away from the end of 2021 because that was a very good end of the year between Forza, Halo, and Psychonauts, which Psychonauts 2 was my game of the year last year. But it's just going forward, we're looking at all these games that we're very excited for, and we've seen next to no gameplay on most of the titles. Um, like even Hellblade 2, that was revealed when the Xbox Series X was revealed. We've gotten 2 trailers for it, and we have no idea when that's coming out. There's just so much that's up in the air about it that we don't know what's coming out. That being said, though, when I look at Xbox Game Pass, people are like, "Oh, where's these AAA exclusives?" Completely dismissing all the great indie games that are on there already. Like that alone is an amazing deal right there. There are some great games to play on there. But you've got your Guardians of the Galaxy, Rainbow Six, Extraction. Like the games come there. All the EA Play games come in there as well. Like the AAA titles are there. Yeah, they're not exclusive, but like I don't that doesn't really bother me. Like I see a lot of fanboys like talking about oh the PlayStation Plus upgrade thing is going to be so much better. They've already confirmed that there's not going to be any first party games coming day and date there. Those the Xbox titles are still coming. They just have to come at some point. That's the big thing here. It sucks waiting. I understand the delays. I'm always okay with the delay if it's going to make the game better, if we don't have such a broken mess at launch. But at some point, Xbox has to get these things turned around. We have to start seeing these games come out at some point. There's just too big of a catalog of exciting games that we just don't know anything about.
Yeah, like for me personally, I'm not bored of Game Pass at all. Just because like the type of person I am, I play a lot of games. So like if John, tells me, hey, like for instance, Back for Blood, right? That's a game I didn't buy. I played completely through at launch, probably the first 2 weeks, right? And then I put down for a few months. And just recently, John's like, hey, I've been getting back into Back for Blood. You should download it. I was like, all right, I'll download it. And I played one night with you, and that was fine. I still have it installed. That doesn't mean like I'm not going to play it ever again, but it's just nice to have, just a library of games, especially like if you play with friends. It's a genius thing to have because for that instance right there, John says, "Hey, I've been playing this game that's on Game Pass. You already own it. Just download it and try it with me or play with me for one night, whatever it is." So like there's that whole aspect. The other thing is I will still say that Game Pass is hands down the best deal in gaming. Um just because I think it does come out cheaper, right, than the PlayStation like top tier,
Oh yeah.
the PlayStation Plus top tier, whatever it's going to be called. Um it still comes out cheaper and you just have a giant library of games to play. First party or not. Yeah, you have all like the old Xbox first party AAA exclusives. Um but on top of that, you are going to get, a bunch of just like EA games, like you said. For instance, all the Yakuza games have been on and off there, more or less a few times in the past few years. So it's just like the value is definitely still there. It's just a matter of your preference, like I would say, yeah, drop Xbox Game Pass if the reason you had it is to play the three major exclusives a year. In which case, drop it and then pick it back up when, the next big first party Xbox game comes out.
Mhm.
Which, you could do that. Like, that's definitely an option for you. but like they're still announcing games coming to Game Pass day and date on launch, whether
Yeah.
that's an indie game, AAA, like, you know, big game.
And we're
they're just
about to
not.
see a lot more with the showcase that's coming up.
Yeah, they're just not exclusives to Xbox, and like there's nothing wrong with that. I still think that if you are buying a next gen console today as somebody who has no bias, PlayStation or Xbox, and has like, you know, doesn't care where their friends are playing, I still think Game Pass and like an Xbox Series S or X is the way to go, hands down. Even if you have a gaming PC, like I still think it's a no brainer just to have Game Pass for PC, just
Yeah.
because there is a giant library of games there to play, and there is something there for everybody. You know, you have your puzzle games, you have, you know, RPGs, you know, whatever you want is in there.
hmm At the end of the day, it's your money. Do with it what you want. But I am probably always going to recommend Xbox Game Pass as like the one thing you should buy if you have a PC or if you have an Xbox. Like it's just too good of a deal to pass up. I tell all my friends and they don't really believe me or anything, but I'm like, guys, you are passing up hundreds of great games and a lot of games that you might not even think that you would like. If you see any interest in it at all, what's the problem in just downloading it and giving it a try? There's a lot of stuff there. A lot of it puts a lot of it puts a spotlight on a lot of games that originally wouldn't get it. So yeah, I think it is a great service still. Um, it, really, the only thing that I could see like making it better is Xbox start releasing their games in a timely manner.
They're just all over the place right now, right? Like
Yeah.
I think that if they knew Starfield and Redfall were going to get delayed last fall, they would have pushed some of their releases back, right? To be spread out more. Like
hmm
maybe Psychonauts would have been a spring game. I don't think they would have delayed Halo anymore just because there's already been so much backlash at that.
Oh, it
Um,
should have been.
yeah, Halo needed another year. Believe it or not, Halo needed another year. So yeah, I think they would have spread it out. I have a question for you though, John. Do you think that if subscriber numbers to Game Pass goes down enough that we'll start seeing a lack of games on Game Pass in terms of like who Xbox is willing to shell money out for to get their game on there?
I don't think so because the last few years have grown. Game Pass has grown so much that just a little dip is expected to happen at some point.
Yeah.
Um, and it's not something that they're going to be worried about. They are still going to be pushing the service very hard. We mentioned the showcase. That's going to have a lot of games announced. That could change a lot of people's minds. Whatever is coming out at that time, who knows? But
Yeah.
I like it.
I feel
I
like
don't
I was
I don't see the service dipping in quality anytime soon. It can really only get better, and that only happens once Xbox gets their games out. It's just we don't know when that's going to happen.
yeah. I think because like their numbers have grown so much, and I feel like the service itself has stayed pretty consistent over the past, you know, 2-ish years in terms of the content coming and going. I think, like you said, I think they have anticipated a dip of some sort at some point. You know, like whether it's a, you know, 5% dip or 20% dip, you know, whatever it is. Um, but as of right now, I think Game Pass is the thing that Xbox has. Like they may not have exclusives coming, but Game Pass is the thing they have going for them. So I
Mhm.
feel like even if they had like a 50% dip, I don't think they're going to change anything because that's where they're making their money as of right now. You know what I mean? Like people aren't going to go out and like pre-order a shit ton of copies of Starfield, you know, when it just got delayed, you know,
Yeah.
especially after Cyberpunk. I don't understand why anybody would pre-order a game without seeing reviews. That's just my opinion, but like obviously there's, you know, argument to be had there as well. Um, Personally, I haven't pre-ordered a game in years, unless it's a game like Halo, where like I know no matter what I'm gonna play it just because I love the Halo franchise. I just don't pre-order games.
hmm Yeah. Um, yeah, that's just kind of the state of the industry at the moment. But yeah,
All right, moving on, John. Let's talk about giant games that have been delayed out of 2022 because this kind of goes in with the same thing. We're talking about Starfield getting delayed into 2022. That was supposed to come out the day after my no, the day before my wedding.
Hmm.
So I mean, I'm kind of glad that one got delayed. Personally, that's just me being selfish.
Yeah.
Does it have a release date now?
No, it's just I
Ooh,
think they might have said spring, but they didn't set a
Y-
firm release date.
you think we get that at E3 or Summer Game
The
Fest?
showcase,
Yeah, the
Starfield.
showcase.
Yeah, they've got to show it at some point.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I think they'll set a new release date. I think we'll also see Redfall, what's going on there. That one I think got a lengthier delay. I think that one is now expected to come out next summer, but I'm not 100% sure if they actually set release windows on those or not. But yeah, I'm excited to see both of them. I I mean, those were the two big things coming out this year out of Bethesda and Xbox. So them not being here now.
it makes you wonder, man. What would Xbox look like if they didn't make these acquisitions?
I mean, the thing is though, like even with if they hadn't made these acquisitions, we've already seen years like this where Xbox has like nothing coming out. That's why this stuff is so frustrating right now.
They have
Um,
nothing coming out, and then they announce Scalebound. They show us Scalebound, and then they cancel Scalebound.
mhm.
All within that time of nothing coming out.
Yeah. Or you would have a year where State of Decay 2 is your big release, which I love that game, but that's not a
Not for
giant
everyone.
AAA thing. Yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot of games that we still need to see. State of Decay 3, and all that, but
Yeah.
we'll talk
Uh,
about that later when it gets closer.
Breath of the Wild 2 also delayed into 2023. That
Still sad about that.
yeah, I know you are. Um, I still got to beat Breath of the Wild 1, John. One of these days I want to stream it and I want to have you in Discord with me watching me play it
All right.
so that you can coach me like what am I not getting when I'm playing this that makes people think that this is like the best game ever made?
All right.
What
Sounds
am I
good. Let's
missing?
do it.
All right. Moving on. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League also got delayed into next year.
Yeah. So
I have
that's
no interest in this.
I'm
I feel
interested in it because it's
for me,
Rocksteady, but I'm still sad that they went away from the Arkham games.
yeah, for me this and is it Gotham Knights are on the
Yeah.
same tier of game for me. Like
Hmm.
take it or leave it. Like I'm fine without it. If it comes to Game Pass one day, I'll probably play it. But or if Loops buys it on Xbox, I'll play it. But it's not a game I'm willing to pay for. I'm just not
Gotcha.
big into DC stuff, honestly. Unless it's Batman, because Batman's the biggest DC superhero there is.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, there's also been a few other like smaller tier delays out of this year, but I wanted to focus on just the AAA games because coming into this year, I was saying this year is going to be stacked, and now we're in May, and we had Elden Ring, we had Horizon, we had Pokemon Arceus at the beginning of the year, which was a very strong start. We've been in a dead point for a couple months now, and it looks like the next few months are going to be the same way. This year quickly it quickly moved all of its like well not all of it but a lot of its big hitters into 2023 and beyond. um and I really don't see this being the end of it. So what other games set to release this year could you see being delayed into 2023?
God of War. I could see that
God
getting
of War
delayed.
Ragnarok, absolutely. I don't think there is a single person out there right now that believes that game is going to release
But
this year.
here's the thing, though, is like Corey Barlog came out with that video, right? It was like the 4 year anniversary of the first one coming out. Four or five.
Mhm.
How long has it been? Four,
Four.
3, 4 years.
Four.
Saying, hey, like we're not ready to, show it yet, but it's being worked on. The fact that they're not ready to show it yet, that's
And
what
it's supposed
scares
to come
me.
out within 6 months. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's worrisome.
yeah, that's definitely worrisome. But then, like right after that, somebody who works on the game, like confirmed that it is coming out this year. Like, pretty much said like I'd be willing to bet my paycheck or something that it's coming this year. And I'm sure that person got in a lot of fucking trouble for saying that.
Ask Todd Howard about Starfield when he gave it a November 11th release date last year. Everything he said is, yeah, no, it's coming out 100% at that time, and
Yeah,
now it's delayed. These things
and
happen.
like just because you're working on the game doesn't mean like Cory Barlog is in talks with like the highest executives at Sony, right? Like
Hmm.
that's not going to trickle down to the employees until like probably the day before they announce it to the public.
Yeah. No, they can think that they can hope and think that it's coming out this year, but until it actually comes out this year, I'm not buying in on God of War Ragnarok being a 2022 release. That I could really see it being like an April release, like the last one was. You good?
Hold on, I'm looking up what other like major titles are coming out this year.
Okay, well, I know we have Hogwarts Legacy. I think that one will
I
release this year.
I do, especially because we saw like that like very pre-alpha footage like 4 years ago. It feels like at this
Yeah.
point.
They're also ramping up the stuff now. Like the PlayStation blog just put out a thing talking about all the features that the DualSense will have in that game. Like PlayStation and WB are ramping up stuff for that. I think that one is definitely coming out this year. We have Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I believe that uh, those games never get delayed, so
Yeah, they don't.
they don't care what those look like. Pokemon's going to come out when it comes out. What else do we got though?
I'm scrolling through this list. Hold on, it's a long list because it goes through every month. Saints Row, did that get pushed back yet?
No,
It got
that
pushed once, right, to the
it
fall,
got
didn't
pushed
it?
once. Yeah, it was supposed to come out at the beginning of this year. Now it's supposed to come out in August. I have no desire to play that
Neither
whatsoever.
do I.
I
It
don't care if it's delayed or not.
same here. It like it could very well surprise us, and like
It
we
could.
might see maybe it gets like nines across the board. And we're like, you need to play the Saints Row reboot, but it literally just looks like a Watch Dogs clone to me from what we've
Mhm.
seen so far. I'd be interested to see actual gameplay. I don't think we saw actual gameplay, right? We just kind of saw like a
I think they did
QTE
put out a
event.
gameplay thing recently,
Oh well,
but I haven't watched it because I just don't care about it right now. I love Saints Row the Third, and I enjoyed Saints Row 4. This reboot that they've got going on though just is not doing it for me. It
another
looks
game, another
why does
game
it
I
look
could
so
see getting
generic?
delayed. Another
Go
game,
ahead.
Lord of the Rings Gollum. We still have not seen
That
anything on
that
that.
that one in the quick news, it actually just got a release date for September 1st.
Yeah, okay, that's on the list.
That
Okay,
so
so
it's probably
probably,
coming out this year, but it's been delayed so many times before that who knows.
yeah. We have Modern Warfare 2 remake coming out October 28th, which is pretty cool. That was
Yep.
like one of my favorite Call of Duties, so I will probably pick that up, honestly.
Well, it's not the same game. It's continuing the reboot, so it's going to be a different game. It's not like a remake of that one.
Oh, really? I thought it was
Yeah.
like, didn't they remake the first one?
They did a remaster for it,
Oh,
uh
remaster.
but the second one got a remaster of the campaign only. This is the
Oh.
continuation of that last Modern Warfare game that came out.
Dude, what the fuck? Like, I know video games. Like, I follow them. How do I. If I don't know this, how the fuck is Joe Schmo sitting on his couch seeing an
It's
ad for it gonna know
confusing.
this?
It's confusing. Yeah. No,
Because
it
I just
absolutely needs
assumed,
to be.
I was like, oh, they're due for a Modern Warfare 2 remake.
No.
Like they did the first
Not
one.
a
I didn't
remake.
even. It's like,
The
why not?
campaign was remastered. You can
Yeah.
buy that and play it. But yeah,
But I
no.
don't care about the
This
campaign,
Modern Warfare
John.
2 is different.
I mean, I'll probably still buy it. I like the last Modern Warfare Call of Duty
Yeah,
game,
it was
so
good.
yeah.
And I mean, Modern Warfare is one of the biggest sub series ever. So yeah.
Yeah. Um. So games that are not on this list but have been rumored lately. The Last of Us remake. It's been rumored
Ah, I
lately that
forgot about that.
it's been rumored that it's coming out this year, which
Really?
would
Wow.
yeah, which would make sense considering the show's coming out. Like they would probably want something to come out with the show to boost sales.
Is that this year? The show?
I don't know if it's this year. I hope it is.
I don't think first of all, a remake should just not be happening because that game
Oh,
does
I
not need a
agree.
remake.
It got
But
remastered on the PS4.
the one no, the Last of Us thing that I think is coming out this year is the multiplayer
The
thing. That not
factions.
factions, yeah.
It's rumored that both are coming this year.
Gotcha. Maybe that'll be some kind of like bundle thing.
Yeah, because apparently the team that made The Last of Us 2 was put on this assignment like immediately after they finished the second game.
Gotcha.
Which like
Yeah,
realistically, like how hard can a remake of the first one be? You know what I mean? Like it's
still
you
so
have you
stupid.
you have to imagine like now we don't know anything about game dev, but you have to imagine like they're pretty much just bringing it into whatever if it's the same engine in Last of Us 2, whatever they're doing, and just bringing
Hmm.
new assets in.
Probably.
Um, yeah, I don't think it needs a remake. Will I
No,
play it
yeah.
if it comes out this fall?
Probably
Probably.
because it's a great game, but I don't. If it ends up being $60, I am not touching it. This has to be
How
at
much would you
most like
pay?
a 30 would probably be the max for me because it is a good game, especially if factions is involved.
Well, John, it's Sony, so it's going to be 70 because it's going to be a
Oh
PS5
yeah,
exclusive.
70. Yeah. Yeah, no. So stupid.
So, with all this being said, do you think 2023 is going to be like the big gaming year? You know, since what would you say the last big gaming year was when Breath of the Wild and
2018.
Horizon came out?
2017, yeah, absolutely, but 2018 as well because we had God of War, Red Dead Redemption, Celeste. That was a banger year as well. But 2017 is probably my favorite of the recent years because you had the Switch, Breath of the Wild, Horizon. There was so much good stuff in those 2 years. I've actually been kind of sad since then because the years we've had good gaming years, but we haven't had those banger years. I thought 2022 was going to be that coming into it. So I'm not really buying 2023 going to be absolutely massive until I like actually see these games come out and we actually know more about them. There's just so many question marks. A lot of that is because of the pandemic and all that. Like we're very much still feeling the effects of that. But just the fact that yeah, there's a lot of games set to release next year that are awesome and amazing. A lot of these games, though, were supposed to come out this year, and we still have games to be announced for next year. So, what all is going to be moving around by the time that we get to that point?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm definitely excited to see what the end of this year and beginning of next year brings. I'm excited for next month to see kind of what Xbox shows in terms of dates for stuff. Um, yeah, they're definitely lacking on games, like everybody knows that. So they got
Hmm.
to do something. Well, so we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see what ends up happening. All right, our next story comes to us from Wesley LeBlanc at Game Informer. The headline says Xbox declined an offer to make Marvel games, according to a Marvel executive. Um, so I'll just read a few paragraphs here. Executive Vice President and Head of Marvel Games Jay Ong has revealed in a book that both Xbox and PlayStation were approached about making Marvel video games, but only one of the console makers accepted the offer. I wonder which one it was, John. A look around the gaming landscape reveals exactly which one, too. PlayStation, the company with an exclusive Spider Man franchise and an upcoming Wolverine game. And over on the Xbox side, you won't find any new Marvel games developed by an Xbox studio because, according to Ong, the company declined Marvel's offer, opting instead to focus on its own IP, as reported by Video Games Chronicle. So that's where I'm going to leave it. Um, John, do you think this paid out for Xbox? They're working on their own IP here.
This stuff is frustrating when we're
It's just
talking
funny.
about.
It's just funny to me how this comes directly after what we were just talking
It is
about how
important to
Xbox not
notice.
having game.
It is important to note, though, at the time that these talks would have been taking place, Activision was just getting out of their Marvel deal. There's actually like a point in here where here, one sec. Ong said that Activision asked him when they were taking back their titles, "What are you going to do with this IP after you get it back?" He said, "I'm going to find a better home for it." To which Activision replied, "Good luck finding your unicorn." Which is just like, what the hell? That definitely worked out for them. But no, at this time, let's say this would probably be like 2013, 2014. This is again during the time where Xbox did not have anything coming out and they wanted to focus on their own games. So what would they have been making? Rare would have been working on Sea of Thieves,
Halo, Halo
Halo,
5.
Halo 5 and Halo Infinite during this time. They did not have Bethesda at this time, so none of those franchises or none of those companies. So I can kind of understand why they were doing it. At this time, they were very focused on Gears, Halo, Forza. But the problem was that was all they had. plus State of Decay and some other like smaller deals and all that.
Oh, Fable Legends.
Fable Legends, yeah. So the timing of it, this is just during a time where everything was going wrong with Xbox. This is when Xbox didn't have a future. Like we at least have that now. Back then, there was nothing to look forward to with Xbox because Halo 5 was disappointing. Gears 5, I liked it, but I know people didn't like it. Um, yeah, it at the timing, I can understand how this happened. This 100% did not work out in Xbox's favor, though.
No, I mean, and it makes sense that Sony would, want to start with a Spider-Man game, right? Because
Yeah,
Sony owns the rights to the movie deal, so it only makes sense that they would want to start there. And Spider-Man, probably the most known Avenger, Marvel superhero there is,
yeah.
so that's a no-brainer. And it kind of sucks that Xbox didn't jump on that train for them because we'd probably be looking at Xbox in a very different light right now. Because if you
Maybe
think
though.
about it, maybe who knows?
Who would be making the game and what game would it be?
It could have been Insomniac with a Spider-Man game. You never know, man.
It it could have been. That's 100% right because after Sunset Overdrive came out, I was saying, "Man, this would
Yeah,
be an amazing Spider-Man game." Man, what a weird time warp that would have been.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like it literally could have been like. Granted, it would have been a different game, right? It wouldn't have been the Spider-Man game we know and love, but it would have been an
yeah.
Insomniac Spider-Man game potentially. But yeah, I don't know. Either way, if you think about it, since this was brought to both companies' attention, Sony has now come out with two Spider-Man games, a bunch of DLC for one of them. Well, like two, I think, fairly substantial DLCs, like probably 4 hours long each one.
Hmm.
Um, and they're coming out with a third Spider-Man game and a
And Wolverine.
Wolverine game. So like, in all those Spider-Man games, probably made them a shit ton of money because they were
Oh,
very successful and popular. So
yeah.
yeah,
That's
Microsoft
only going to keep
definitely
happening.
missed out.
I do you see Xbox changing their mind and going back to them and saying, "Hey, we want to make a game now in a Marvel franchise."
And what's left, right? What are they gonna make, a Squirrel Girl game or whatever the fuck?
I'd be down
Like
for that. They could make a lot of things. Obviously, you're not making Avengers because Square Enix has that. You're not making Guardians of the Galaxy. I think a Doctor Strange game would be a lot of fun. Um, there's definitely
that sounds
things
like
you
a
could
lot of
do.
hard work. A
Game
Doctor Strange
development's
game.
hard, man.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of hard work to make a Doctor Strange game.
I'm down for it though. Give me it. Yeah, no. There's definitely areas they could go. A
I
Fantastic
mean, hear
Four,
me
an
out though.
overall X-Men game.
Imagine Xbox approaches them for a Doctor Strange game, and then behind Xbox's back, Marvel goes to Sony like, "Hey, they want to take Doctor Strange. How you feel strongly about this?" And they're
Deadpool game would be
no,
awesome.
that would be cool.
Sorry.
And then Sony's like, "Picture this, right? Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Remember those rifts? Imagine that, but with Doctor Strange." And then Marvel be like, "God damn you, I'm in. Fuck Xbox."
Yeah. Uh no, I'd be okay. I am right now being as much as I've gotten into Marvel in the last decade, I'm so happy that they've got so many good games coming out because when they were with Activision, it was a lot of not great stuff for a long time. You had Spider-Man 2. I liked the Deadpool game that they released, but there was a lot of crap in there. Now we're getting these games made by developers that really care about this stuff, and I'm just excited to see more of that. If that's
Yeah.
Xbox or not, whatever.
All right, moving on. Next article comes from Game Informer. This is written by John Carson. The title is Report EA almost merged with NBC Universal before deal with Comcast dissolved. Mergers, acquisitions, and consolidation are all the rage with major conglomerates these days. Microsoft is in the process of acquiring Activision Blizzard. Discovery and Time Warner have recently finished merging into one mega media empire, and Sony is bringing Destiny developer Bungie into the PlayStation family. What we didn't know about was a now failed bid for NBC Universal to strengthen its hand by folding Electronic Arts into its corporate umbrella. According to a report from Dylan Byers at Puck News, the merging of EA into NBC Universal was well in motion until the deal fell apart in April. Damn, that's pretty recent.
Hmm.
Brian Roberts, chairman and CEO of Comcast Corporation, is said to have wanted to inject the business with an influx of new IP and brands for some time now, and EA was in the crosshairs most recently. In the wake of the Microsoft Activision deal, Roberts approached Electronic Arts CEO Andrew Wilson with a proposal to spin off NBC Universal and merge the media and gaming giants. Four sources with knowledge of the proposal told me, writes Byers. He says the deal was negotiated for weeks, and the most common outcome, if it went through, would have had Andrew Wilson leading this new amalgamation with NBC Universal head Jeff Shell elevated within Comcast. That was a lot to read.
Yeah. So when I first heard this news, I was like, what the hell? NBC trying to get into video games? That made no sense to me whatsoever. But I got a little bit of a clue as to what they were trying to do here, reading on here. Um, Despite the recency of the shattering of this merger, Byers also states that EA has been looking toward Disney for a similar business deal. His sources call the relationship EA wants with Disney as a more meaningful relationship than just licensing deals. Byers points out that the mixing of ESPN and EA Sports could prove to be a lucrative unification for both sides. That's 100% what they were trying to do with NBC here. They were trying to get in on the NBC Sports stuff and they were trying to grow Madden. They were trying to grow what else do they have? FIFA, probably. NBC doesn't have FIFA. Who cares about FIFA? They were just trying to grow their sports stuff in general, I think, here.
I mean, it makes sense because, like, when you think of EA nowadays, you're not really thinking of, let's say, Star Wars Battlefront, because that was kind of a failure for that kind of game. They really dropped the ball there. So you're not thinking of like other types of games in terms of like what IP you could potentially bring, and the sports one makes the most sense because that is where EA makes their money, right?
That's their bread and butter. That's what they love.
But I'm gonna look up some. I'm looking up a list of IP that NBC owns, and I'm curious to see what kind of games you think that they would make EA make.
Like would they like spin off and do like let's see, what does NBC have?
I'm looking. Hold on. I just clicked on the link.
NBC, is that The Office?
Yeah. Well, no, that's Peacock. That's Peacock. Yeah, that's NBC.
Is it? Yeah, I thought so. So we got a future Office game potentially, which would be
Law and
awful.
Order. You'd have some Law and Order. Chicago Fire. That's a big show. Hold on. Come on. Get out. What is this pop up doing here? What is this pop up doing here? Reality shows. America's Got Talent. Let's go. 1 vs 100. That shit. Let me perform in front of 100 people. The Voice. American Ninja Warrior. I'm pretty sure there already is a Ninja Warrior game somewhere, isn't there?
There probably is.
Let's see. Game shows. Weakest Link. The Wall. Capital One College Bowl. What the fuck is that?
The Weakest Link is still a thing?
It died in 2020. Well, wait, 2001 to 2002, and then it came back for 2020 and died.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Award shows. Dude, I cannot wait. Oh, the Golden Globes apparently was only on NBC for so many years.
Golden Globes game.
Yeah, the People's Choice Awards game. Let's see. Talk shows. No. Saturday Night Live? The game?
So
yeah, I don't know. It's getting
There's
really
nothing
boring.
there. I don't really
What about the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, John? Would you play that game?
How many giant balloons can you bring down in a short amount of time?
How many microtransactions do you think that has?
Oh my god. Yeah, no, there's just nothing there for EA outside of sports.
Yeah.
I don't.
The Olympics, that would be a big deal. Make an Olympics-based game.
It depends on what that deal looks like with Sega for the Mario and Sonic games. If they have an exclusivity deal, I have no idea.
I doubt that they have an exclusivity deal on like athletes' names and stuff. But that gets hairy too because like those athletes are all for different sports. They'd all have to be signing, deals with the Olympics themselves.
Yeah, for their likeness.
Yeah, for their likeness, much like, the MLB and like NFL and stuff like that.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
just
everything else is like sports. You got the Olympics, NFL on NBC, Golf Channel on NBC, Thoroughbred Racing on NBC, college and high school football, U.S. Olympic trials, tennis, boxing, just you name it. It's all on
yeah,
NBC. NASCAR, IndyCar series.
yeah. The thing there is for hardcore gamers that like Mass Effect and Dragon Age and Skate, like that stuff, that do nothing for us. You and I, we like our sports, but that was that's really the only good outcome coming out of this, I think. Hopefully Disney doesn't end up in them, and I don't think they will. I think that relationship is pretty soured after Battlefront 2. I think they're allowing them to do Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order 2 only because
The first
the
one
first
was
one
a
did well.
success.
Yeah, I think I would think Disney would try and avoid them, and let's hope that they do.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Time will tell, John. Time will tell. Take me through the quick news.
All right. The most played games this year came out years ago. So this is from Matt Piscatella on Twitter. He's got a chart here of the top 10 most played games, not the top 10 best selling. This is top 10 most played, according to the NPD. Starting at number 10, we have NBA 2K22, Call of Duty Vanguard, Madden NFL 22, Call of Duty Warzone, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Among Us, Fortnite, The Sims 4, Grand Theft Auto 5, and then Minecraft as the number one. So there's a lot of people that are upset because Elden Ring's not on here. But the thing is, as huge as Elden Ring is, as many copies as it's sold, that's a play it once and don't come back game. All of these games on here are all right. Minecraft is just never gonna die. That game's gigantic. Same with
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 5 and The Sims 4, Fortnite, Among Us. Like these live service games, not only do they have the crowd playing them from years in the past that just keep coming back and playing it, but when they throw events like Fortnite does, they're bringing new people in all the time as well. Elden Ring has a very dedicated fan base that's growing, no doubt, but it's not nearly as big as any of these titles.
Yeah. You want to talk acquisitions, John? Xbox fucking they robbed for like they made out buying Minecraft.
For $2 billion, yeah, that's an insane
It it
good deal
sounded
for them.
the thing is it sounded insane at the time. I remember I was
Mhm.
eating my lunch. I was on break from work. I was eating my lunch at a Burger King, and I was watching Kind of Funny Games Daily, and they were talking about it. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
Like that
no,
that is way too much for Minecraft. But nope, nope. They're proving to us it's not.
no, they easily made their money back within just a couple years of that deal going through. All right. The Marvel MMO that was announced 6 months ago has been canceled. I don't think they had a name for it, but it was being made by the same guys that made a DC
Uni-
MMO.
yeah, they made DC Universe Online.
Yeah, so MMO fans are probably sad, I would imagine. Uh,
Probably.
we we talked about this earlier. Modern Warfare 2 is releasing October 28th, and Lord of the Rings Gollum releasing September 1st. Replaced, which is a game that was revealed at last year's Xbox showcase, which had the pixelated art style and looked really fucking cool. That's been delayed into 2023 now. The reason for that, though, is to make sure that everyone was safe because they are a Ukrainian. Um,
Makes sense.
yeah, so 100% makes sense there. Dead by Daylight is getting a dating simulator called Hooked on You, being made by the KFC dating simulator devs, and I cannot wait for this.
Sounds
it
awful.
it's it's a meme. That's all it is. And- but I cannot wait for it. Um Older PlayStation games on the new PS Plus are getting trophy support. I think I had a stroke there when I was
Yeah.
typing trophy.
I think this is awesome. I
Yeah,
really wish Xbox would do, add achievements to OG Xbox games that are backwards compatible because like
yeah.
this is really cool. And I don't think it's all PlayStation games. I think there's
I
just
don't think so.
some. There's just like a select few. But yeah, it would be really cool. Like Maybe just start doing it. You know, Fable's coming out soon, and release the fucking achievements for Fable 1. Although, can you get achievements for?
In the
Is it the
remaster.
anniversary? Yeah.
Yeah, the anniversary one you
Okay.
can. Yeah.
Never mind.
But no, that would be amazing to get some Xbox achievements in those original Xbox
You know,
games.
even if it's just like you don't have to give it the full 1,000 gamer score, just give it like 200. Just
I will
give me another reason to play an older game.
this does kind of help me push me to more towards playing these PlayStation games because
Same.
I want to play these old games regardless. I want to play Twisted Metal and all that. You put trophies in there, hell yeah, I'm gonna get
Aren't
them.
they streamed though? The PS Plus ones, like the
PS3 games are not
and
one and two.
two.
Those are download.
I thought two was streamed.
No, just three because PS3 had the weird architecture to play games on it. PS1 and 2 they can be streamed, but you can download them,
Cool.
right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I
Like
believe so.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out right now. But like
Okay.
I wish it wasn't so expensive because I would totally do it to try it out. But
It's not massively expensive. It is like a few more dollars than Game Pass Ultimate. I think it's like $18 a month. But they do have like the annual plan, which helps, which Game Pass doesn't have, which is one thing I still don't understand. But I don't know. We'll see. If I'm fine paying for a Nintendo Switch online, I think I'll get the PS Plus, especially if we start seeing more good games. What are I saw Ridge Racer was announced. Siphon Filter is one that has
I
trophy
have a chart
support.
up here, John, that
Oh,
says
okay.
here I'll post it. I posted a link there for you to look at. Um, but the reason I thought that is because I looked at the bottom. So so the only way you could play PS3 games is if you have the premium, which is the highest tier,
Hmm.
which is kind of dumb because that's basically their way of gatekeeping the cloud streaming, right? Because it includes cloud streaming of PS3 games, which is the only way you could play it, and you can also cloud stream original PlayStation, PS2, PSP, and PS4 games. But like you said, you were right. The PS1, PS2, PSP classic games. Um,
I totally forgot PSP was included.
Wait, hold on. How come? So how come PS3 remasters can
I
be
was
downloaded?
just wondering that. Like, what does that include? Is
Are
that
they
like The
are they
Last of
like
Us?
I don't know. Are they porting it? You know what I mean? Like, are they?
I
No,
don't
because I would think The Last of Us Remastered is a PS4 game. It was never
right.
out on PS3.
So they're but
Unless
what I'm
unless
saying is, are they talking about games that originally released on PS3 but got remastered on PS4, or are they talking about games on like PS2 that got remastered on PS3?
dude,
So
who knows?
that's so confusing.
It is because like maybe what they're doing is like maybe their term remaster is going to mean like a PS3 game that they're kind of trying to port over to be playable by downloading and not have to be on the cloud. Because I
I can't
imagine
even
they're.
think of anything that people would want from that because
I mean,
you
I don't know.
all the only ones I can think of are like Shadow of the Colossus and
No, I'm not
Demon
thinking of.
Souls.
I'm not thinking remasters at all. I'm just thinking like they're just like using the word remaster of a way to bring
Gotcha.
a PS3 game to the service that can be downloaded because like we know like the whole what is it cell processors or whatever the fuck on the
Yeah,
PS3 made it so hard. So maybe there are some games that they're able to do it with. It's
maybe.
just not all of them. Who knows?
Okay.
Not certainly not me. I
Yeah.
don't know.
It's very confusing. Okay, last up here on quick news, Norman Reedus has leaked that a Death Stranding sequel is happening, and who cares because it's Death Stranding.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I could also see this being one of those like things where like he thinks that it's happening, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's like a DLC or something. Who knows?
Maybe it's
Um,
maybe it's another director's cut.
yeah, director's cut.
It'd
Maybe
be
it's
a
a
very
remake.
Kojima thing
It's
to
actually
do.
just a
It's
remake.
a remake. It's actually the Xbox game that Kojima's working on.
Silent Hill. All right, John. We are getting long here. We're at 50 minutes already. So
All right.
let's start. Let's talk about what we've been playing.
All
We've both
right,
been playing
let's
Evil Dead.
Evil Dead the game. So yeah, be sure to check out our two Let's Plays that we have up on our YouTube channel, Pixel Street Videos. Um, how many games have you played? You've played a few, right?
Probably 6, 7, something like
All
that.
right, that's probably close to about what I've played. Um, it's an okay game. I enjoy it. I have fun, especially when like you and me are playing, or I'm playing with loops or something. Um, I don't think this is a game I'm ever going to play solo.
Yep.
These kind of games, typically, I don't do that. Really, I only do that with Dead by Daylight, and that's because I enjoy Dead by Daylight. This game is a bit janky. There's quite a few bugs. I also don't think that it's balanced well. I think the survivors have a very easy path to victory unless someone like completely goes off on their own and messes up.
Or if the person playing the monster is just like, has been leveling up their monster, you know,
Hmm.
in the what is it, the collection screen in the main menu, if they've just been using a
Yeah.
shit ton of points and leveling them up. But yeah, I feel like there's only been one time when I lost, and it was the time, I think it was me and you playing. Was it me and you? I can't remember. But it was my first ever match, and the only reason we lost is because like we had a
Didn't know
guy
what was happening.
we had a guy just like going rogue on his own, didn't know where to go.
Hmm.
Um, Piano Man Will is in the chat. He says he votes for bi-weekly Let's Plays on the channel. Hey, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
We'll find a different game
100%.
to play every other week, and we'll record it.
Yeah. I like Evil Dead the game. Of course, I've also never seen any of the movies. I haven't seen the show. I have no background here in Evil Dead the game. But I like it. It's I just don't see how much longer if there was anything else releasing right now, I would be playing that instead of Evil Dead.
I agree. It's something new to play right now.
Yeah.
That's all it is for me. Um, that's not to
But
say
like
like I don't think it's a bad game. I just
no.
think that it's the Evil Dead, right? I feel like it's got a very niche
Yeah.
fan base of people that are gonna be like, "Oh, Evil Dead, I need to play that game." It's
It
more
also
like it just came out at the perfect time to get people like me and you, who like
yeah.
I've seen the show, I've seen like one of the movies. Um, it's just like I'm not a huge fan of it. It's just something I've watched.
Mhm.
It just came out at the perfect time for people like me and you. They're like, "Oh, a new game that people kind of enjoy. Let's
Yeah.
try it."
Yeah, no, that's pretty much all that happened here. Uh, yeah, like 6 or 7 games in, it is starting to feel monotonous to me already because it is literally just every single time the survivors grab 3 pieces of paper, get the dagger, get the book, go in circles around the witches, and then wait for 2 minutes. Like that's every single game. Which, I mean, yeah, that's the same thing with Dead by Daylight. It's always repair 5 generators and leave before you can. But it's not as fun here as it is in Dead by Daylight to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I almost wish there was like a difficulty like level that you could choose when going
Mm,
online. So like maybe, the enemies hit harder if you're playing on a harder difficulty. Because like you said, as soon as you get to the witches, you basically won, right?
yeah.
Because all you do is hold Y. They hit you once or twice. Like it doesn't hurt you that much because everybody knows
Well,
like,
really,
oh, don't run
if you
right
just
up to
walk
them.
in a circle while you're holding Y,
Yeah,
they can't hit you.
yeah.
It's stupid.
It
Yeah,
is very
no,
dumb.
it's not a bad game, but if I were reviewing it, I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10. I don't think it's anything amazing.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of agree with that. 6.5.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah. So what I've been playing is I've been playing more Halo Infinite lately. They just came out yesterday with a new Fracture event, which Fracture event is basically like a small battle pass within the battle pass, I guess you could say. They're free events. I think there's 20 levels in it, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, usually it's like
Um,
10, right?
no, I think they've all been about 20. I think one was
Oh, okay.
short. I think one was short and was like 10 to 12. But yeah, this one is called Entrenched, and it includes a game mode called Land Grab, which is essentially, I don't know how to explain it. You start the match, and there are 3 zones to grab, and it's not like you don't hold the zone the whole match. You just have to capture the zone, and then once you capture it, your team gets a point, and then that zone goes away. and then um, once all 3 zones have been capped, it spawns new points, and you play up to 11. Each team plays up to 11. So if you hit 11, you win. I think it's fun. It just seems to me like I just don't understand why they're not bringing back classic game modes. They're just kind of like making a different iteration of classic game modes that have been in Halo. Um, in which like it's fine. Like I'm enjoying it. It's fun. I just wish that this was something they added along with all of the classic game modes we know and love in Halo. Not just like, hey, here's this. It's kind of like what you've played in the past, but it's different. It's like we get that you're trying to do your own thing. Okay, Wills in chat, he says 30 levels in this Fracture event with the ability to unlock 10 tiers each of the event weeks. So the way it works is, you know how you have your like your weekly challenges.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of filter like you once you finish a challenge, you get a new one. During the Fracture events, some of them have like orange around them, and that means it's specifically for the Fracture event. And those are all revolved around the game mode that was added. And you only get 10 of those a week. And you don't get all 10 of them at once. You have to do all of your shit, all of your challenges to get them all.
Hmm.
Which is kind of shitty, I think. I think that you should just be able to, work on just those if that's what you wanted to do. Because most of the time when I get, like right now, I'm grinding the game because I want to finish that Fracture event to get all those unlocks. Um, but yeah, I don't know. The land grab game mode, I think it's a ton of fun. I've been enjoying playing it. Halo, like the engine it's running on, is amazing. I think it's a ton of fun to play. I just wish the content was there to make me and my friends all be playing it every weekend. Like, I just wish it was there. Like, I want
Yeah.
fucking Forge. The thing is, once co-op becomes a thing, I'm gonna be
Oh,
playing
we're
this
running
game.
through that.
I'm gonna be playing this game on Legendary, like until I
Yeah.
beat it with friends. Like it's gonna be a
Yeah.
ton of fun.
You and I are running through that on Legendary. We're once Forge comes out and we get all these created maps by the community, that's going to make this so much better. The problem is that we have to wait so long for it. It's insane.
Yeah. And on top of it, the 343 dev team is just they're just losing like lead devs after lead devs.
Yeah, they just lost a big one.
Yeah, they just lost Jerry Hook today. Will just commented in the chat. Yeah, I saw that on Twitter earlier. I don't. He was the like head of like lead designer for the game, which
Hmm.
is substantial in a game like this. So,
Yeah.
and like this is on top of them saying that they're having trouble, keeping staff to like keep the game going more or less, or keep not to keep the game going, but like to keep advancing the game further and further,
Yeah.
like how they're wanting to do it.
It's definitely an avalanche effect where it's just getting bigger as more people leave. It's becoming a bigger problem.
Yeah,
Hopefully things get turned around, but yeah, it doesn't look great at the moment.
it's making me question like in a year are we going to see them be like, all right, this was a flop. Like they're not going to say it, but they're going to, and be like, we are now moving all efforts towards the next Halo game.
No, I don't think so. I
It's
think they are.
crazy.
I think they're committed to making this work. I mean, we're talking about Microsoft here. They will get employees at some point. They're that big of a company that has that much money to offer people. The numbers will come, but I just really think they did a terrible job of managing this for the first year.
I saw a tweet that like summed the Halo game release timeline up pretty well. It's like if Halo 5 came out when Halo 4 came out, it would have been great. If Halo Infinite came out, in like 2017, 2018, it probably would have been great. And if whatever this Halo BR came out at that time as well, it would have been amazing. But now you have like the Halo Infinite BR going to be coming out once they confirm it. We don't even know if it's a for sure thing. Probably
Probably
what?
is.
Probably in a year and a half to 2 years from now, something like that. Who knows? And even at that point, it's going to be like, all right, BR Battle Royale was a huge deal, from when Fortnite launched until like probably currently. It's like
Yeah, it's still big.
who's to say there's not going to be something, even big like the, flavor of the day 2 years from now.
Yeah.
To where like they've just launched late.
Yeah. No, they've just completely dropped the ball managing Halo Infinite and its content. I still hope that they turn it around. I
I
think
still
they will,
I can't talk
but
about Halo without asking, what the fuck game were we gonna get in 2019 or 2020? What game was that?
I asked the same thing about Cyberpunk 2077.
What game was that, John?
Right? It's a good question. All right. So, my last bit of games I've been playing here. I've been playing a bit of Rocket League lately with some friends. Got back into that. Uh, Rocket League is still a lot of fun. I have been dealing with some connection issues lately with it, though. A lot of latency, which has sucked. But other than that, game is still a lot of fun to play. Also, still playing Back for Blood. I'm on my Nightmare run. I made it to the second act, and I'm working through that right now. It's really a hit and miss thing because there's times where I find amazing teammates to work with, and then there's times where I just find absolute dog shit
Yeah, I was
teammates.
gonna ask, are you just doing that with randoms?
Yeah, yeah,
Have
just
have have
complete
they
randos.
like added you as a friend or anything? Like saying
I've
like,
had a
hey,
couple.
let's fucking play this through Nightmare because that's what I'm
There,
trying
I
to
had
do.
one night. If, might have been over the weekend, might have been last week. I uh, I started playing at like midnight, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna play for a little bit. And I found a group that was really good, and I was like, oh, I don't want to leave this group because we were just rolling through levels, and I stayed up until like 8:30 is when I stopped playing.
I
So
think I think you posted about it in Discord or tweeted about it or something.
yeah,
I
I
saw
was like,
you
oh man,
say something.
I pulled an old nighter. This must be Left 4 Dead 3. Because I did that all the time with Left 4 Dead 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, Back 4 Blood is so much fun with the Tunnels of Terror expansion. I think it fixes so many issues with that game. I'm waiting on the next expansion. There hasn't been any announcement on that for a while. So I'm hoping at Summer Game Fest we get that revealed, whatever is coming next.
Yeah. I have no other games really to talk about. I played a mission on Horizon Forbidden West. I haven't picked that back up. Um, there's some new DLC content that came out for it's not new DLC, but it's like a new season for Destiny 2. I played that briefly last night, but I'll talk about that more next time I'm on the show. I was gonna bring something up, but I can't remember now. Oh yeah, the nope, the fixture S2 dropped the other day. Did you see that?
What? It dropped? Like it
Yeah,
released?
yeah.
What?
He dropped like Founders Edition, which he made out of like the prototype that he got from overseas and old fixture S1 parts. But I missed it, so I didn't get one, and now I'm bummed because like who knows when the next wave could be? Could be a while from when we
Wow.
had Austin on. He made it sound like it was like quite a ways out.
Yeah.
Um,
Would have been nice if he like gave a little sneak peek or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll DM him and be like, "Hey, you got any
It's
more of
got
them?
any more of these?
Got any more of
You
them?"
got that fixture S too?
Yeah, I mean, I imagine he just sold whatever he had, which
Probably, yeah.
why not? He's in the business to make money, right?
Yeah.
Um,
And he deserves it with such a good product.
yeah, it's awesome. And I'm just thinking about how, man, I'm flying to Orlando this week. I would love to have it, but
It would be really good to have. Yeah.
yeah, well, that's it for episode 189 of the Pixel Street podcast. We're getting so close to 200 episodes, John. It's
Oh
crazy.
baby. We're old.
Um, Yeah, I turned 30 in a few weeks, so I'm
I
really
turned
old.
30 24 days ago.
um, but yeah, as always, you can follow us on Twitter at Pixel Street to see when we're posting stuff, like the show, videos, whatever it may be. Check out our pinned tweet to join the Discord where we do pal party nights every once in a while. We try and do one a month, but life happens.
Life happens.
Yeah, other than that, you can subscribe to us at Pixel Street Videos where we post all of our Let's Plays, podcasts, unboxings. John someday is going to show us how his nacho cheese machine works that he has. I still don't believe that he has a functioning one because he's never sent a video or anything. So someday.
Maybe.
John, where are you at on them there internets?
On Twitter, I am at RevXShadows, and you can find my writing on doublexp.com. Recently, I got early access to the Rainbow Six Alpha, Rainbow Six Mobile Alpha. It's pretty much just Rainbow Six Siege, but on your phone. So I put up an impressions piece on that you can read about. I also I have a couple things under embargo that I cannot talk about, but May 31st and June 1st, I'll have some things coming out. So yeah,
Cool. You can find me on Twitter at Campo63 or twitch.tv/Campo63, even though I haven't really streamed at all lately. I do want to stream more. I want to finish Psychonauts finally. I still have not beaten it. But yeah, we'll be back
I'll
right
jump
here.
into a Discord call and help you with that too. We can talk about.
I mean, it's not something I don't need help with it. It just
no, I mean
getting
just
around
like
to it.
being there.
Cool. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, we'll be right back here next week with episode 190 of the Pixel Street podcast.
Bye.